Behind the award shows, behind the magazine covers, beyond the glitz and glamour, lies a hidden world. A world of stolen kisses, whispered promises, and dangerous secrets. These are not just gossip tales. These are true stories, love affairs kept out of the headlines, until the truth could no longer be hidden. Some of these romances inspired legendary songs. Others destroyed friendships, careers, even lives. Tonight, we pull back the curtain on 15 hidden affairs that changed Black celebrities forever. What you're about to hear will change how you see these icons, forever. Dorothy Dandridge and Otto Preminger, the director's secret. The year was 1954. Dorothy Dandridge was Hollywood's rising star, a beauty unlike any other, with talent to match. But in an industry run by white men, her every move was under a microscope. When she met Austrian-born director Otto Preminger on the set of Carmen Jones, sparks flew instantly. He was sophisticated, powerful, and dangerously charming. They began a secret romance that lasted 4 years, meeting in hidden apartments, exchanging love letters, dreaming of a life together. But the studio system was ruthless. When Dorothy became pregnant, Otto, terrified of scandal, pressured her into an abortion. Heartbroken, she complied, but the wound never healed. By the time she realized he'd never leave his wife, Dorothy was already emotionally shattered. That secret love would haunt her until the end, and Hollywood would never know the full price she paid. Richard Pryor, comedy, chaos, and confessions. Richard Pryor could make a stadium roar with laughter, but his personal life was far from a comedy. His fiery romance with actress Pam Grier was passionate, but turbulent. They fought hard, loved harder, and both carried scars. After Pryor's death, a flood of revelations came to light, multiple affairs, secret lovers, and even relationships that shocked his closest friends. It painted a portrait of a man both magnetic and self-destructive, constantly chasing affection but terrified of lasting commitment. The world still celebrates his comedy, but those who knew him remember a man caught between fame and the need for real love. Josephine Baker and Jean Cocteau, the artistic bond. Paris in the 1930s was a city of lights, and Josephine Baker was its brightest star. She broke racial barriers, spied for the French resistance, and adopted children from around the world. Few knew she also shared a deep, possibly romantic bond with French poet Jean Cocteau. They were kindred spirits, artists who understood each other's loneliness. For decades, this relationship lived only in rumors and private letters. It wasn't until after Josephine's death in 1975 that the truth emerged, revealing another layer to the woman who seemed to have no secrets, but clearly did. Diana Ross and Berry Gordy, Motown's hidden romance. Motown was an empire, and Diana Ross was its jewel. At its helm was Berry Gordy, a visionary businessman. Their romance began in the shadows, while Diana was still with the Supremes. For years, they kept it quiet to protect the Motown brand. Then came the revelation: Diana's eldest daughter, Rhonda, was Berry Gordy's child. Suddenly, every love song, every long glance on stage between the two took on a new meaning. The story of Motown wasn't just about music, it was about a love that shaped the sound of a generation. Luther Vandross, Love in Silence. Luther Vandross sang about love like he lived it, but the truth is, he rarely lived it openly. Throughout his career, Luther kept his romantic life out of the public eye. Friends say he fell deeply in love, but always in secret, fearing the world wasn't ready to accept him for who he was. When he died in 2005, fans were left with his music, full of passion and longing, but only whispers of the men behind the voice. It was a reminder that fame can buy you everything, except the freedom to love openly. Jesse Owens, the sprinter's secret. Jesse Owens was America's track and field hero, the man who embarrassed Hitler at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. But away from the stadium, Owens had a romance he kept hidden for decades, with a fellow athlete. Social norms and racial prejudice of the time made it impossible for him to acknowledge the relationship. Only after his death in 1980 did the truth emerge, showing that even the fastest men in the world couldn't outrun society's judgment. Toni Morrison, the untold love story. Toni Morrison was a literary giant, winner of the Nobel Prize, and one of the most influential voices in American literature. Yet, her private life remained just that, private. After her death in 2019, close friends revealed she had a long, deeply personal relationship that shaped some of her most celebrated novels. Morrison's words about love, loss, and longing weren't just fiction, they were drawn from her own guarded heart. Nina Simone and Andy Stroud, The Dark Marriage. Nina Simone's voice could move mountains, but her marriage to manager Andy Stroud was a prison. While the public saw them as a power couple, behind closed doors, Stroud was controlling and abusive. Simone endured in silence for years, fearing career backlash if she spoke out. It wasn't until after her death that the full story emerged, one of pain hidden behind a smile, and music born out of survival. Sammy Davis Jr. and Kim Novak, The Forbidden Love. In the 1950s, interracial relationships in Hollywood were dangerous, sometimes deadly. Sammy Davis Jr., one of the era's most talented entertainers, fell in love with white actress Kim Novak. The studios panicked. Under pressure and facing threats from powerful figures, the couple split. The relationship remained a secret for decades, a heartbreaking reminder of a time when love could cost you your life. Langston Hughes and Alberta K. Johnson, The Hidden Letters. Langston Hughes, the voice of the Harlem Renaissance, had a relationship with writer Alberta K. Johnson that he kept hidden from the public. Private letters, discovered after his death, revealed a romance filled with longing and shared creativity. For a man who spoke so openly in his poetry, Hughes kept his heart's truth locked away. Zora Neale Hurston and Alain Locke, The Intellectual Affair. Hurston and Locke were literary powerhouses, and possibly lovers. Their connection was intellectual, emotional, and maybe more. But both knew the dangers of scandal, especially in a time when black artists already faced immense scrutiny. Only after both had passed did scholars begin piecing together the evidence of their hidden bond. Marvin Gaye and Janice Hunter, Love and Turmoil. Marvin Gaye's music dripped with passion, and much of it was inspired by his relationship with Janice Hunter. But their love was not without chaos, infidelity, jealousy, and the weight of fame eventually tore them apart. The heartbreak fueled some of his most powerful songs, turning private pain into timeless art. Whitney Houston and Robin Crawford, The Friendship Beyond Friendship. For years, whispers followed Whitney Houston and her best friend Robin Crawford. Their closeness went beyond typical friendship, but the world wasn't ready for that story. After Whitney's death, Robin confirmed their romantic past, offering a new lens to view Whitney's struggles with identity, addiction, and the pressures of fame. Chadwick Boseman and Taylor Simone Ledward, Love Until the End. Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther himself, kept his private life sacred. Few knew he had married his longtime love Taylor Simone Ledward before his death in 2020. The couple's devotion was revealed only after his passing, showing a side of Boseman the public had never seen, a man deeply loved and deeply loving. Tupac Shakur and Jada Pinkett Smith, The Eternal Bond. Tupac and Jada Pinkett Smith shared a connection that defied labels. They met as teenagers and formed a bond so deep it bordered on spiritual. Though they insisted it wasn't romantic, their own words suggest otherwise. After Tupac's death, Jada's emotional tributes left no doubt, whatever they had, it was love in its purest, most complicated form. These stories remind us that fame doesn't shield you from heartbreak, and love, in all its forms, is never simple. For these black icons, their hidden affairs shaped their art, their choices, and their legacies. Some found joy. Some found tragedy. But all of them proved that behind the public image beats a human heart.